All right. Good morning, everybody. On a beautiful Tuesday morning here in Milwaukee as we start out. So here's the deal. This morning, I thought I'd give a little shout out to you, Bruce Springsteen fans, to rock out your Tuesday. Peter G, I see you smiling there. Brad Yates, I know you're loving it. Here's the deal. This morning, I know there's a ton of you who have had a lot of, let's just say, anxiety around the conversion from full search to quick search, right? And I know there are many people who here have been on, in the industry for many, 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 many years and have been long-term legacy users. And so I thought it was a great opportunity for us to welcome Metro MLS on, and Jared from Metro MLS is going to join us here to kind of talk about the conversion, what it looks like, give us some tips, tricks, and benefits, allow you guys to ask some questions of the conversion. And here's the thing I'd want to remind you of. Two things I would leave you with. One, Mandy and myself are going to be monitoring the chat section of Zoom. So if you have questions for Jared, please utilize the chat section. Please remain muted so that we can get through some of the material, and then allow Mandy and I to facilitate questions to Jared, please. So if you have questions, please utilize the chat function. Two, remember this: Jared is the messenger, right? He didn't make this decision. So many of you who feel as if you want to come out and start blaming somebody, don't blame Jared. He's just here to help us understand what's happening, why it's happening, and how we're going to help manage through this. Is that totally fair? All right. So Jared, before you come on, I want to play one quick thing to this team. And I've played this for them before, but it's a good reminder for those of you who haven't seen it. It's a great addition, but real quick, just to get our mind right for what's going on and what we're about to what we're about to learn. Guys, do me a favor and just check out this video real quick from Simon Sinek. It's a very powerful reminder, especially with everything that's going on right now in our world. So with the election, with politics, with anything that may be going on. So I want to share with you something real quick before Jared jumps on.
Agree with somebody, don't nod yes. If you disagree with somebody, don't nod no. You will be told your whole life that you need to learn to listen. I would say that you need to learn to be the last to speak. I see it in boardrooms every day of the week. Even people who consider themselves good leaders, who may actually be decent leaders, will walk into a room and say, here's the problem, here's what I think, but I'm interested in your opinion, let's go around the room. It's too late. The skill to hold your opinions to yourself until everyone has spoken does two things. One, it gives everybody else the feeling that they have been heard. It gives everyone else the ability to feel that they have contributed. And two, you get the benefit of hearing what everybody else has to think before you render your opinion. The skill is really to keep your opinions to yourself. Simply sit there, take it all in, and the only thing you're allowed to do is ask questions so that you can understand what they mean and why they have the opinion that they have. You must understand from where they are speaking, why they have the opinion they have, not just what they are saying. And at the end, you will get your turn. It sounds easy, it's not. Practice being the last to speak.
That's it. Practice being the last to speak. So Jared, I'm turning it over to you to give us the insight as to what's going on with the conversion over to quick search.
All right, thank you, Charlie. Good morning, everyone. That was a great intro. I appreciate that. Yes, it is not our doing that full search is going away. FBS, the company that makes the Flex MLS software, actually are the ones that are discontinuing the full search. Several reasons for that. So you saw within the last year, if you had access to full search still, that it had that little legacy behind it. The reason it had that little legacy behind it is we are what's considered a legacy account. We've been with MLS or with FBS now for about 20 or so years. So we've always had that option for full search. When they first came out with the full search, they didn't have in mind that people were going to be doing business on mobile technology. It just wasn't really even a thought in the industry back 20 years ago. So when they saw that change start happening towards more of a mobile platform, they ended up coming out with the quick search / map search, which now, as you know, has been combined into one, which was designed with the thought that it's going to be useful on mobile platforms. So probably about 5 years ago, any new accounts that came and joined FBS, so brand new Flex MLSs, they didn't even have the option for full search. They only gave them the option for quick search. So for the last several years, they really have not been supporting full search at all. I don't like the fact that it's called quick search. It makes it sound like you can do less with it, where in reality you can do so much more. It's just in a different way. So on November 4th, we do have a full session set up for using quick search. I've kind of broken it down into two components. One is the basics of quick search, which is what we'll cover today. The very basic things that you need to know to start, using it successfully, getting comfortable with it. And then next week, November 4th, we'll get into the more advanced things that quick search can do. All those fun little goodies that actually, once you get used to using them, will really help streamline how you do your searching. It's also important to note that come November 18th, when full search goes away, you won't have to redo your searches. You won't have to worry about your subscriptions. All of that will just continue to flow in the background. You'll just log in that day and full search will be gone. So you don't have to worry about your customers missing out on any of the listings that normally would go to them. So just give me a second here to share my screen. Sorry, I've got a lot of screens open. Hang on, let me close some windows so I actually can find what I'm looking for. There we go. Okay, hopefully everyone can see my screen here for Flex MLS. Mandy, I can see you on my screen, so if you can see it, can you give me a thumbs up? Thank you. All right, so the big thing when it comes to quick search is when you're used to doing the full search, you're used to having all of the options up here at your very top. So, the different tabs and then the subcategories within those tabs. The main change that happened is now instead of having all your fields along your top, you have it on the left-hand side here. So these are pretty much all the equivalents of what you're going to find in that main fields tab. What I don't like about this presentation of it, and I think this is where some of that anxiety kind of kicks in, is it's very kind of cluttered looking, where it just has bedrooms, bathrooms, and if I want to go into it, I kind of have to click it open. There is a setting I'm going to show you that actually will have these automatically are all open for you, which I personally always have mine all the way open. It's just a lot easier for me to see and kind of understand. So, sorry, there's a couple of people that I need to admit. So if I go ahead and go to my menu, I'm going to scroll down to preferences, and I'm going to go to my general preferences. So I'm going to click on general preferences, and at the very top here, settings affecting search results. The last item in this box is expand all fields for quick searches. I'm going to go ahead and put a checkbox in that, scroll down to the bottom, and click on save. So now that I've changed that, when I go back to quick search, you'll notice that all of my fields are open for me. So I just feel like this is a much easier way to kind of see things, not have to click into every one to open them up. Another thing I really like about this type of searching is any of these boxes, I can just start typing in what I'm looking for. So if let's say I want to search Whitefish Bay, and I don't want to necessarily have to enter the county, I could go ahead and enter in Milwaukee. And then under municipality, I could go ahead and click on see all, and it's going to narrow it down to just the municipalities within Milwaukee County for me. When I select what I want, or I could select multiples, I'm just going to click finish, and it adds it automatically over here for me. But in order to save time, if I just wanted to do, let's say just Whitefish Bay, let me go ahead and click these off. Since it's a free form type field, I can just start typing in Whitefish Bay, click on it, and it automatically adds it here for me. So I don't have to go ahead and add the county if I don't want to. I would just be mindful that there are several municipalities that kind of replicate or duplicate themselves throughout the state of Wisconsin. So if you're looking for one that may be in multiple locations, in that situation, you definitely would want to use the county. Okay, another thing at the top here, before we move on down, is this contingent. So this is where you go for the active with offer properties. So if you go ahead and click on the with offer, and it highlights it in blue here, puts a little checkbox in here. Right now it reads contingent of with offer, meaning that it's only going to give us those properties that are currently active with offer. If I want to remove those active with offers, I'm just going to click on of and change it to not of with offer, and then it removes those active with offer properties for me. If I go to the very top here, view results, when I click on that, you'll see all of them are just straight active with offer or active with properties. There's no active with offers included in here. To go back to my search, I'm just going to go upper right hand corner here, edit search. Since I went back and hit the edit search, it collapses all these for me, which is kind of annoying. I wish they would stay open, but they don't. But at the very bottom here, where it says add a field to the search, this is where I'm going to go to add in whatever additional criteria I want to for my search. So if I go ahead and click inside of this box, I'm going to get this pop-up here that basically has all of the fields alphabetized by category, and then what's available underneath those categories. If I wanted to, I could go ahead and just scroll through, looking for, what I want. But if I kind of have a general idea, I can just start typing into this box, and it's going to narrow this down for me. So let's say I'm working with someone that is looking for a hobby farm. I can just go ahead and start typing in the hobby. All I have in here right now is HOBB, and it brought up everything having to do with a hobby farm. So if I wanted to go ahead and click on hobby farm here, this is going to bring it right over here for me. I can go ahead and select whatever additional features I want. So if they wanted to make sure they could have horses, I go ahead and click on horse. Let's say dairy is a possibility. And as I click, it just starts filling all these in for me. If they want to have water features, I can just type in the word water, and it brings up everything having to do with water. So instead of having to go from tab to tab, subcategory to subcategory, now I can add in what type of water service. I can add in any water features. So if they're looking at lake properties, all those kinds of things, water frontage on lot, all those kinds of different options here. And I can go through and just keep doing that and adding in whatever additional fields I want to. So at the very top left-hand corner here, you can see I'm on single family for my options, because each different types of the property types will have their own basic templates for searching. So this is the single family one. If I change my dropdown to 2 family, it's going to change it to the options that relate to 2 family. So unit 1 bedrooms, unit 1 bathrooms. It breaks apart those different fields that would not apply to single family and incorporates them into the search template. So all the different templates are available here. We're not going to get into this today. We'll get into this next week when we do more of the advanced type features. But you can create your own search templates here. So if there's a field that you always use that you want to have available at your fingertips, we'll go through next week how to create those search templates and then use those search templates. So if you have a niche that that you're into, maybe you do primarily a certain form of architecture, things like that, we can get these templates set up for you, show you how to do those, and then reuse them. Just keep in mind that the system is going to remember the last template that I used. So right now I just have my North Shore test. I don't have very much information in here. This was just a test what I was doing to show someone how to create a template. But anytime I leave the system and come back in, it's going to remember the last one that I used. So it's going to remember that I want to come back to my North Shore test template. So if I wanted to, so if I was going through and noticing I didn't have all the features I wanted to, I'm just going to go up here, use my little drop down arrow, and then go back to the template that I want, and it's going to refill those in for me. I was working with an agent the other day who was looking, she's like, I can't find bedrooms, I can't find bathrooms. Reason for that, when I logged in, is her last template that was used was vacant land, which obviously doesn't have bathrooms or bedrooms as an option. So we just changed that template to single family for her, and then all those property types showed up. So just keep in mind that this is going to be the last template that you used. Mandy, how are we looking on the chat?
We've got a few questions.
Okay.
First one is from John Lorenz. He's saying, so whenever he wants to do the edit search, does he always need to go back to preferences and set it to expand all fields? Or is there something in the works to make that always the standard setting for him?
That is a really good question. I haven't done too many edit searches, so I haven't brought that question up before. So let me, I'll forward that on and see what we can do.
Okay. And then I have another one here from Ross Treffert. He said, right now, full search does not automatically email listings that are entered as delayed to clients. Does quick search email out delayed listings, or is that still a manual process?
It's still a manual process. It's not that the system can't do it. It's a matter of policy. So that actually is something that we've been discussing here and would have to go before our board of directors in order to change.
All right. What if the user is using 2 different PCs? What search will appear?
As far as the type up here, is that what they're asking?
Like, will their I think they're wondering if like their saved searches will transfer over.
Yep. Oh yeah, save searches. The system doesn't care where the data originated from. You know, if you use full search, quick search, or quick launch to get your criteria, the system couldn't care less. It's looking just behind the scenes. Okay, what does that data point map to? So regardless, you know, if you started in full search, if you go back to a save search and bring it up, it's just looking at that criteria behind the scenes.
All
Hey,
right.
Jared, quick
Yep.
question for you. Is the delayed listing policy something that's going in front of the board of directors, or is that something that we would need to propose? And what are what are the thoughts on the reason why the policy is inactive, why delayed listings wouldn't go out now?
Yeah, so basically, we've had internal conversations around here as much as possible in a COVID environment, and the thought process when the policy initially was written, I don't know, was it 6 years ago now, I think, with the delayed listings, was that it would be confusing to the marketplace for buyers not understanding what a delayed listing is. Now that we've gone, 6 years with it, we felt it definitely was time to review it. So as management staff, we've talked about it, and I would imagine that it would be on our agenda for our next board of directors meeting.
Okay. And then second question for you, as it relates to if someone is searching for both single family and condos, can you highlight both of those property types in the same search, or how does that function work?
You can. So if I wanted to highlight a second one, so I've got single family selected here. I'm just going to go down to condominium. And if you're a PC user, you're going to hold down your control key. If you're a Mac user, it's your command key. So I can just hold down my control key and select my other piece. And now I've got single family and condominium. So that works the same way, with anything that you can select multiples of, again, your control key or your command key. Just keep in mind, if you are searching multiple property types like single family and condominium, not all the fields are going to be available. So under condominium, if you're trying to search for like a condo fee range, it's not going to be available for you since it's not a shared field between single family and condominium. Okay, Mandy, what else we got?
I think we're up to speed on the questions.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think, Jared, keep going in terms of maybe you got to remember too, so many of these guys are long-term legacy full search users, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you were in that boat, what were some of the things from a conversion standpoint to be paying attention to, or where to find some of those features?
Yeah, so if there's a couple of things. If you're in here and you're starting, to get a little confused by things, at the very top here, there's this little circle with the eye in it. If I hover over that, it basically gives me a step-by-step guided tutorial of quick search. It also gives me a PDF with paper instructions on how to do things. Gives me options to watch live training that we've done here. And it also gives us these short tip little videos that are all under 3 minutes. So that if you kind of get confused along the way, great option. You can do this without having to leave the system. Like I said, the main thing that I would do is go in and make sure I make that change in my preferences to have all of my fields expanded. I find that just so much simpler to look at and to go in and do. Second thing is just get comfortable with coming down to the bottom here. This add a field to the search. This add a field to the search is going to be your best friend when you want to add additional things. So again, if I click in here without typing anything, it's going to give me it's going to give me everything that's an option for me. If I start typing something, it's going to start narrowing down those fields for me. And every field that you're used to searching on that you'd be able to find in full search is going to be available in this menu here. So you're definitely not losing anything. I said this is basically the basics behind how to use quick search. Next week when we get into more of the nitty gritty cool features of it, we're going to be creating that template, and then we're also going to be using our different drawing tools and our different overlays to define certain areas. In Milwaukee, as you guys probably all know, there seems to be a new neighborhood every couple hundred feet, and some are more desirable than others. For instance, Bayview. Bayview's kind of been an up-and-comer for a while there. If you were to go in and search postal municipality right now of Bayview, you get 0 results because it's also a postal municipality of Milwaukee, and most people just leave it as Milwaukee. So if you were to search for Bayview right now, you would get 0 results. But if you actually go in and use an overlay to draw out the shape of Bayview, it's going to look at just the area that you drew out for your search criteria for your location. And right now there's actually 40 some properties available for sale, single family in Bayview. So we'll go through features like that next week.
Jared.
Yes.
Question for you is, if we need to edit a full search subscription we already have set up, should we start over by creating a new quick search, or is there a way to edit a full search after the sunset date?
Yeah, so good question. So basically, if you have like a saved search, grab a saved search here. When you click on it to open it, come on. I'm going to go up here to the upper right-hand corner, edit search, and it's going to automatically just take you to the quick search. So it'll automatically bring you there because it won't give you the option for a full search anymore. So it'll automatically take you to quick search for editing. The other thing that's important to note is at the very top here in the right-hand corner, none of this is changing for you. So you email just how you normally email, save how you normally save, print, CMAs, all those kinds of things. None of that is changing.
And then is a question going back to more sort of the locale or specific, like the Bayview question, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way to search that by zip codes?
You can search by zip code. So let me go ahead. Actually, I've got zip code as part of this template here. So if I go ahead and type in, that is 53207, I believe. The issue with searching on the zip code for Bayview is it's not just Bayview. It also goes into, I believe, Polonia.
Got it. So can you just real quick, while we're on that subject, can you show these guys with the zip code function, show them some of the features as it relates to finding some of those specific little neighborhoods that may be encompassed within, let's say a Milwaukee, for example.
Okay, let me go ahead and grab a clean map here. So we're going to get more into the nitty gritty of this next week. In the upper right-hand corner here, it says map, which basically just gives us the map view. If I click on satellite, it basically just gives us the satellite view so I can actually see, all the different properties. Next one over is overlays. Overlays, especially in the Milwaukee area, are very, very useful. And we're going to go through how to use those to actually draw out our shapes next week. But I'm going to go ahead and click on overlays. The one that's really useful is this neighborhood maponics. So you can see all these gray areas. These are all different neighborhoods in the Milwaukee area. And the white lines around them basically are their borders. As I zoom down, you'll start to see that the name of the area actually starts going onto the map. So from here, I can draw out my shapes if I want to, right on top of my map feature, save it, and then reuse it later on.
Cool. And then some of the feedback that that we've gotten too, as it relates to the app functionality. Is there going to be some enhanced or increased functionality as it relates to the Metro MLS app for users?
Yeah, so hopefully everyone is using the Flex MLS Pro. We had our own app years ago that should not be used anymore. So make sure you're using the Flex MLS Pro. That's one actually done by FBS. We have not heard that there's any change coming to it. It is a lot different than what you're used to kind of seeing if you were to go inside of Flex MLS itself. It does have different functionality, the way it all operates. So it sometimes it can be a little cumbersome until you actually learn how to use the app to find what you're looking for. If there are certain features that you guys want to see from the app, let me know. If you want, you can either put it in chat or you can send me an email. My email is Jared, Jared, at metromls.com. Because we definitely can submit those types, your ideas over to FBS to see if they can incorporate things.
Cool. Is Jared, anything else you'd like to discuss or highlight from a conversion standpoint from your standpoint?
I mean, that's basically if for this week. I said next week we're going to get more into the nitty gritty kind of customization things. So everything we went over today with this menu tree on the left hand side, this is going to allow you to do your searches. I don't want to say like normal because it's obviously different from what you guys are used to, but it's going to allow you to go in and use all those features like you're used to finding. So play around with it this week. If you have questions, let me know. Make sure you're here next week, November 4th at 10 a.m. And then any questions that you guys had that came up the week, you tried maybe doing a couple searches and you weren't getting the results you were expecting to, things like that. It would really be helpful to kind of bring back and we can have those discussions then. So play around with it this week and see what you like, see what you don't like. Again, it's going to take you a little bit of getting used to because it is a little bit different. Most of the agents that I've spoken with that had a lot of anxiety about full search going away had a lot of misconceptions, I think, about quick search. And once they actually kind of learned how to use it and went in and started playing around with it themselves, has said, okay, I really, really like this. You can take full search away. So hopefully, now that you guys have kind of seen what's what with it and have a chance to play around with it, hopefully you'll start feeling the same.
Cool. Hey, 2 quick follow-up questions for you while we have you. Is there an option for a neighborhood drop-down search box like there is with municipalities? Or is it just the overlay function?
Yeah, so right now it's just the overlay function. One thing we're talking with FBS about is because they basically give you, like the dimension or the boundaries of those different neighborhoods, and it allows you to draw the shapes on top of them. I mean, like if they're already here printed in here, why can't they just be an automatic thing like you were talking about, like a drop down where I can just select it? So that we have submitted that as an improvement. Whether or not it's something that FBS is willing to do or able to do, that I don't know.
Got it. Cool. And then the last question for the day is the new format mobile friendly?
It should be substantially more mobile friendly. So there's 2 options. One is if you just go to regular Flex MLS, depending upon what device you're on. Sometimes it'll work better than others. But there's also kind of a more mobile version that looks and functions the same, and that is just M as in Mary .flexmls.com. And then you would just use your regular MET credentials to log in, and it'll bring up like basically your basic dashboard like this, and allow you to search in quick search like you normally would.
Cool. Jared, thank you for jumping on and answering a bunch of questions. And guys, reminder, save the date next week, Wednesday, November 4th. Jared's really going into a deep dive around the conversion on quick search. And as with anything, as it relates to technology, I've always found the more that you're in it, the more that you play with it, the more comfortable that you will be in the tool for you and your clients. So Jared, thank you for taking time to jump in to share with our group.
Yeah. So was I a co-host or do I have to give host control back to someone?
Nope, you're good.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week. Have a great meeting.
Cool. All right, guys. Couple things just as a follow-up to Jared's conversation. One, we are recording next week, Wednesday, November 4th at 10 a.m. The quick search training, and we will make sure to record it and send it back out. Also, as a reminder, everything that we have been doing via Zoom is recorded and live and available on the Keller Williams Milwaukee YouTube channel. And if you'd like, you can subscribe to it in order to get notifications when new things are uploaded. But all of Jared's material will be presented and shared with the group. I will also make sure there were some things in there as it relates to like the m.metro. Some of the things that Jared gave us, I'll make sure to send out this afternoon in the weekly resources and insights email that we send out. Cool. All right, we're going to wrap this up with a few things, and we're going to jump over to Lindsay for Tech Tuesdays with a few updates. Lindsay, it's over to you.
All right, good morning, everybody. So today's tech training is all about the sales pipeline and opportunities. So if you're not using the sales pipeline at your full advantage, I highly recommend jumping on today's training or checking it out on the YouTube channel afterwards. So if you don't know already, the sales pipeline is the sections that you see right when you go into opportunities. You've got the listings, buyers, and leases, but you can customize those stages and those checklist items and really customize those to fit your business. So instead of utilizing a spreadsheet, you've got that built into Command. So that's what tech training is going to be all about. In addition to that, we're going to be talking about offers within that same section. So I'm sure a lot of you have seen there is an offers tab when you're submitting for compliance. And this is fully built out. It's an entire offer management system. So you can go in there and you can enter in the offer or multiple offers that you have for a property. So you can edit the information, you can add negotiations, you can also create offer comparisons and send those to your clients. And so it's a really nice, clean offer comparison that you can send out so that your clients can see the pros and the cons to each offer. So we're going to be diving into that today. So check that out. This is also super exciting because you do have to accept an offer before the commissions tab appears on your screen. And stay tuned for more details and training resources because pretty soon we will be rolling out commissions in replace of green sheets. So that's super exciting. I'm sure a lot of you are going to be looking forward to that. It's just an additional tool and function that you'll be utilizing in Command versus going into another platform and doing that double data entry. So join me for a little sneak peek on some of that with commissions. But otherwise, and you'll see those screenshots on your screen. So we'll be going through all of this today. You'll see that email offer comparison. So the way that it's built out, it's super easy to utilize and share with your clients. And then one other announcement is we do have the team command rollout that got delayed a week. So kind of piggybacking off of what Gordon and I talked about last week. So that rollout is scheduled for tomorrow. So teams, stay tuned for that. If you haven't thought about your custom tags, your custom team fields, and additional lead sources, make sure that you're checking out that prep guide that I uploaded to our Facebook groups and that Charlie emailed out last week as well. If you need that again, or if you have questions, reach out to me, but stay tuned for that tomorrow.
Cool. Thanks, Lindsay. All right, Kimmy Herbert, you're up for compliance updates.
Awesome. Good morning, everyone. I want to just take a few minutes to just talk about multiple offers. I'm sure if you've had listings, you've seen multiple offers come in, most likely. So just a quick reminder about how to handle multiple offers. It is important that you're presenting all offers as objectively and as quickly as possible. Remember, if your seller is requesting offers to be reviewed, a few days after the listing goes live, it's important that you're communicating it in a way in MLS and private remarks that you're saying seller requests offers to be reviewed on Sunday at 5 p.m. As long as that's the request of the seller, you shouldn't have any issues. If you are asked about offers by a buyer or a cooperating broker, and if the seller has given you approval, you are disclosing the existence of all offers as well as their source, meaning are they coming from another co-broke? Are they coming from another licensee in your firm? Is it coming from yourself? Are you dual agency or representing both sides? So the Code of Ethics addresses these disclosures of offers as well as accepted offers. under these standards of practice. So standard of practice 1-15 states that realtors, in response to inquiries from buyers or cooperating brokers, shall, with the seller's approval, disclose the existence of offers on the property. Where disclosure is authorized, realtors shall also disclose, if asked, whether offers were obtained by the listing licensee, another licensee in the listing firm, or by a cooperating broker. And then standard of practice 3-6 states that realtors shall disclose the existence of accepted offers, including offers with unresolved contingencies, to any broker seeking cooperation. But just also a reminder, although you are obligated to disclose the existence of another offer, it is not okay to disclose the terms of those offers. So you're never disclosing term or price and whether or not there are certain contingencies. That is a license violation. So just keep these things in mind when you're dealing with multiple offers. Just want to bring to people's attention that our next contract training on November 9th, we're going to be talking all about the inspection and testing contingencies and the right to cure. So we talked about this last week. I hosted Ignite, Making and Receive Offers. We spent a lot of time on the inspection and testing contingency section. There's still a lot of confusion around how to handle right to cure and what kind of happens in each situation. So please come if you are not fully understanding these contingencies and what happens with the right to cure. And another reminder about continuing ed, we must have this done by December 14th. So everybody needs to do this unless you received your license after October 1st. Please email me or Steph when you've completed your CE. And then as of yesterday, the DSPS has opened their online renewal. So if you go to the DSPS website under self-service tab, you're going to go to professions and then go to renew license online, and you'll follow the steps there. So this is now open for you. So if you've done your CE, you can now go in and renew your license. And then one last quick reminder, we brought this up last week, and I've had since then like 2 or 3 emails from Scott Bush, the GMAR, about agents who are not advertised or not including the firm name in their advertisements. And we're specifically seeing this in those buy, sell Facebook groups. So if you are posting a listing in those groups, you absolutely need to mention Keller Williams, and hashtag Keller Williams we're finding is it's not sufficient. Any advertising, the firm name must be clear and conspicuous. So I would include the logo on any photos, or just specifically mention, you know, Kimmy Herbert of Keller Williams Realty presents, and then you can present or give information on the property. So just please keep that in mind when you are doing any advertising, especially being extra cautious on social media.
Cool. Thanks, Kimmy. Guys, I will, to reiterate what Kimmy's saying as it relates to being clear and conspicuous per state law as relates to brokerage affiliation. Listen, there are a lot of people who don't like our business model in terms of allowing you guys to build your brand your way, right? And with that, there is some policy that's being presented to the GMAR board as it relates to brokerage affiliation and those that break rules in terms of being clear and conspicuous. So again, simply having a very small KW logo on it, making sure it's clear and conspicuous, stay out of professional ethics violations, because I can tell you the GMAR board is reviewing these things, and Kimmy and I are getting emails from Scott Bush on a regular basis about them. And so we need to make sure that we're following the rules so that the GMAR board does not take a more heavy-handed approach as it relates to these violations. All right, jumping into it. Real quick, market insights. What's going on? What are the weekly trends? And I'm going to give you a little bit of a higher view look, right? So here's what I got. Showing time data. If you're in the state of Minnesota, man, major drop off in buyer activity, almost to the point that we're there even in Minnesota with where they were last year at this same time in 2019, right? You look here in Iowa, man, I wouldn't, Iowa's now lower in 2020 in terms of buyer showing activity than they were in 2019, right? Then let's take a look at Illinois. Illinois, our neighbors, doing a decent job. Still a strong demand in buyer activity as it relates in Illinois. And then let's take a look here in Wisconsin. Still extremely, extremely, extremely strong. The reason why I show you this and compare it versus our peers is that we are in a very blessed market in the state of Wisconsin. And it's our time to take advantage of that blessings as it relates to buyer activity within the marketplace. It still remains very strong. Last week, there were 631 units that went under contract last week. I apologize, that is wrong. It was the week of 17 maybe, but 631 units. Really, again, seeing a spike in units that are going under contract. It's up 25% over last year during the same week. Here, sales absorption, so this is the percentage of inventory that goes under contract, 11.3%, the second highest percentage of sales absorption in all of 2020. 11.3% of the inventory went under contract last week. Demand is still very, very strong, right? Here you go, new units that are under contract. Again, as I've stated before, this will catch up to us here as we get here closer to the first quarter, but these trends are following historic trends that we've had in the marketplace. So we're not way behind in terms of where we are historically for the fall. It's just following similar trends that we've always had, right? So if you look here, when we did the 2-year comparison, it's essentially we're on pace with the new inventory units the latest 4 weeks with where we had been historically in the months of October. That's it for your market trends. Next week, be on the lookout because the calendar rolls over. I'll have a full recap for October on what's going on. And I'll also have a breakdown by the 3 different price segments as it relates to what's happened once we close the books on October and we have that statistics. So be on the lookout there. Couple things, reminder, the energy dial, I'm going to hammer this home. We're building our business for the first quarter right now. We're focusing on 2021. What are we doing to strategically plan for the first quarter while taking advantage of a hot market here in the fourth quarter? Reminder, Mega Camp, all of the content and takeaways for those of you who registered for Mega Camp is still available until November 15th. Highly recommend. And last week I mentioned this and I want to mention it again because it's incredible stuff. At Mega Camp, they hosted a script off with incredibly talented agents from across the country. I sent it out last week. I'll make sure I sent it out again. If you're looking for new language, new verbiage, as Dave JENKS told us last week, scripts are the poetry of sales. If you need some new poetry to your game and up your street cred, battle-tested scripts. Take a look at the insight and resources email that I send out. I'll make sure to include the battle-tested scripts. And then lastly, one other thing that I'll also include, last week, Dave JENKS' presentation, Why List With Me, The Power of Your Words. It was incredibly, incredibly impactful stuff. If you didn't have a chance to check it out, I'll make sure to include the link of the recording. It was great stuff all around mindset and how we use our words, the poetry of sales. That was my big takeaway. Scripts are the poetry of sales. So I'll make sure to send that recording out for last week's conversation with Dave JENKS, the author of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. All right, Kadi, what do we got coming the last week of October?
All right, the big thing on for this week is the business planning clinic. So if you haven't signed up, you can still sign up for that. It is this Thursday, and it's free to do. So no reason to not sign up for the business planning clinic. Charlie will include the link to sign up for it in today's email, but do not miss that. And then we're wrapping up Ignite. So our last final week of Ignite, and then we have Maureen wrapping it up next week, Monday. November training calendar, first look at this. So we will send this out a lot about commissions and command. Lindsay talked a little bit about this today, a little teaser, but last day of Green Sheets is going to be November 13th. We got tons of training videos if you can't attend the trainings that are going to be the first 3 Thursdays of November, but there'll be tons to view on your own time. So go ahead, dive into that. And then of course, Jared is going to be on next Wednesday at 10 a.m. for that MLS quick search training as well.
Guys, notice here too, tons of stuff coming up on Wednesdays in November, all around helping you think strategically of building your business come first quarter. Open house boot camp, lead generation. And then lastly, I will say this, Next week, Tuesday, November 3rd, we are not hosting a team meeting. I encourage you, if you haven't already done so, please go out and vote. But we are taking that day around the election cycle. So there's no team meeting next week, Tuesday morning. And then be on the lookout. There will be one the 10th and the 17th, and then no team meeting again the week of Thanksgiving. Awesome. Questions, comments, concerns on the training calendar, feel free to hit us up. And as I've alluded to before, guys, everything is recording on the KW Milwaukee YouTube channel. And there is, if you're ever looking for things, there's a playlist button where we organize all of the content based on what you may be looking for. So if it's listings, if it's agent masterminds, if it's coffee with cappers, if it's team meetings, if it's contract help or contract training, all of it's broken down by a playlist. And also for those of you in launch coaching, we have went back and labeled all the launch coaching conversations as it relates to what everybody's talking about. So if you're looking for a specific topic, go check out the playlists on the YouTube channel. Lastly, as a reminder, again, we send out an Insights and Resources weekly email. We try to limit the emails that we send to you, as we know everybody's overboard with emails, and we try to put everything you may need in one place. So if you have ever need a resource or an insight, look for the KW Insights and Resources weekly email that we sent out. We view this as our newsletter for you guys to pull out all the great information, training opportunities, scripts, whatever it may be. We send this out weekly for you and you guys. Awesome. Guys, it is Tuesday morning. It is October 27th. I hope you have a spectacular Halloween with you and your family and your kids and whoever else you may be spending that with this weekend. Be safe. Lake Country crew, I'll let you guys jet off to the Lake Country meetup. North Shore crew, for anybody who'd love to stay on, I will convert over to new listing and buyer needs. And as Brad Yates wants to say, don't be cheap, pay your dues, get it done. Don't impact your license, baby. All right, guys, have a great week.